Welcome to DBSync's What Our Customers Are Saying About Us segment, where we discuss all things data management and solutions we provided with some of our favorite clients. Today, I have the pleasure of meeting with Matthew Orfisi, who is the president of EduTech Limited. EduTech Limited provides IT services. I'm just trying to remember. I know there's quite a few things for schools, universities, healthcare. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about all those other things in a moment. But if I remember correctly, Matthew, I think you joined the DBSync family in about 2019 or
Yeah, that
so.
sounds about right.
One of the typical kind of challenges we're used to trying to solve, which is we need our systems to talk to each other. And so that's something we've known a little bit about for over a decade now. So I'm looking forward to hearing how we actually were helpful in helping you solve some of those
Awesome.
challenges. So let me first welcome you, and thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you sharing your story.
No problem.
So let's start let's start first with tell us a little bit more about EduTech, what we know there, and maybe the specific challenges that brought you to DBSync in the first place, looking for a solution.
Sounds good. So our company started in 1995. It actually was a small family business, and my older brother and myself, and it grew, and now we're close to 100 people. So we've been around for close to 28 years, focused primarily on educational technology. So as you mentioned, we work providing IT logistics for schools, universities, even some libraries, and we do some commercial work as well. But our bread and butter has been working for those organizations over the last almost 3 decades. So as we've grown from what was a little mom and pop business to sort of a medium-sized business now, putting into place certain practices and workflows became critical, because it was no longer myself and my partner in the business who could have our hands in everything, but being able to delegate out procedures, whether it was tracking opportunities through invoicing and things like that, was important for us. So we made the decision to make a sizable investment into Salesforce about 3 years ago. We dabbled in it maybe 2 decades ago, and we weren't ready for it. And so we made that investment, took time getting it built out the way we needed it, which took some time. But what was critical to us was not doing things twice. So as we went into Salesforce, part of our decision in moving to Salesforce was DBSync, because we needed to know that with a high level of assurity that we could get what we did in Salesforce ultimately moved into QuickBooks, which is still our accounting platform. Even though we've grown, we still maintain it. It fulfills our needs on a day-to-day basis. And so we didn't want to live, we knew we'd live in 2 systems, but we didn't want to have to enter data twice. And so it was critical for us to know that we could work with a tool, and DBSync was really the one we found on the App Exchange, and it's really the only one that we know really does it properly, to move data from one place to the other, and even back in some cases. So like over that 3-year span, we just kept going back. Oh, can we do this? Can we do this? And it was sure enough, they were able to implement it for us.
Right. Well, you sort of hinted this already. I was going to ask you sort of how and where the tool's been implemented throughout the organization. It kind of sounds like, because sometimes it's like one person that does all the work, and so we know the huge impact is there. Other times, everybody kind of has their fingers in all of it. So which would you say fits more your scenario?
So our specific, and if it's okay to be specific, our specific workflow is that we do all of our sales and opportunities in Salesforce, our customer management there. That allows us to have dedicated people on the sales side working there, engineering projects, doing quotes and estimates, and then ultimately that information gets fed once those opportunities are closed. So the sales department's done, the opportunity is won, it automatically populates that into estimates in QuickBooks for us. And what's nice there is if any of your listeners are QuickBooks users, we're able to then do our invoicing and receivables off of those estimates. We're able to do our purchase orders off of them. And that's entirely different teams. So instead of having to have everybody in QuickBooks or everybody in Salesforce, you can have teams in the right tool for them. And so because of DBSync, it moves the data across to where we need it. And now our receivables team, our purchasing team can do their part. And when we go to implement the projects, the same thing. So that was really key to us. Knowing that we could move data, and then sort of as a value add on the back end, we realized, okay, we can bring data back to Salesforce. So we went as far as even having some custom work done for us to bring purchase order line items back into Salesforce so that the sales team could see just from a customer relationship standpoint, they could see that a project was progressing beyond just having won the opportunity. They could see that, okay, work was happening, things were being ordered and things like that. So they could talk to a customer and keep them up to date on things. So that was key to us as well.
It seems so simple, but isn't it amazing when you have it right there? You go, oh my goodness, hello. Now you kind of just sort of hinted at this, but tell me maybe, I was going to say, where have you seen maybe the greatest results, maybe the greatest reward or the benefits from making, as you said, this huge investment, not just to Salesforce, but into making sure that everything's able to communicate as it needs to so that everybody's lives run a little bit more smoothly.
Well, I mean, we're an IT company intrinsically. I mean, that's who we are. And so our ownership's background, my background is in software development, programming, things like that. And so you have a vision of what you want, and it can be very frustrating when there are tools out there, even very large established tools, but they don't really do what you want. And you start to second guess yourself. You start asking like, well, maybe we're not doing it the way we should. And there's some lessons to be learned there, but a lot of it was a recognition that, okay, no one tool was going to do everything that we need. So having something that could live in between some of the best of breed tools that are out there and could address making it work for us was critical. So that's where DBSync kind of fit right in as a tool. And as much as you said it was a large investment, the large investment for us was not on DBSync. That was, I would say, relatively affordable.
Right.
Salesforce is a sizable investment of time and energy and cost. And it would have been frustrating for us to have that investment in a tool for our salespeople and then have it just sort of stop after the sale is over. And we weren't ready to move on to Salesforce as an accounting platform. That just wasn't practical. But to have it just stop and then now you're in disparate systems, that would have been double the work. It would have been frustrating. It would have been really ruined the investment in Salesforce.
I was going to say, yeah, it definitely would not have helped your huge investment.
No. So DBSync was able to fit in and say, okay, I'm going to move the information from one platform to another so that EduTech could do things the way we wanted to do them in a virtually seamless, manner, which was really nice.
Now, have you thought about that in a when I say like return on investment and a dollar amount? I mean, in the end, most people, we know that the key is that we just save some time, some energy, make people's lives a little bit happier at the end of the day. That's great. But just out of curiosity, since bottom lines matter, have you tabulated it somewhat or thought about it in terms of numbers?
I think for us, it's less, numbers wise, because we're a company that's been growing. So, it's hard. Anything we do is added overhead. There's no way around it but we have to do it in order to continue to grow. So for us, the return on investment has less to do with, we saved money, but rather it enabled us to grow and increase our capacity for sales and then follow up on those sales right through to, collecting revenue. It allowed us to do that at a greater capacity without increasing our overhead so much beyond just the software itself. If we didn't have DBSync, you'd have to have dedicated staff moving that data and double checking that data between Salesforce and our in-house accounting platform. Like we didn't have to do that. So can I calculate what we saved? Not really, because we didn't cut anything out, but right. I know we would have spent a lot more if we didn't have it in place.
Yeah, and especially just like you said, the time, the efficiency, the moving around, because of course,
Sure.
as you kind of stated at the beginning, one of the people's most, the biggest complaint or frustration is the manual, the constantly moving back and then where is this? Who knows that?
No, for sure. And if you can imagine, for us, it's all about being able to scale that. DBSync is just going to continue to run, whether I'm moving 5 records or 5,000 records. It's just going to continue to run, and I don't have to scale anything from that standpoint, as opposed to if I was doing it manually, if I went from 10 to 5,000, that's more people, and that's intrinsically expensive.
Yes, yeah, that basically sums it up. So I've got kind of one more question for you, but it's sort of two sides of the same coin. And that is, you've already kind of told us a little bit about how you've been sort of taking advantage and saying, hey, what else do you have? Can you do this, et cetera, to sort of personalize and specialize as EduTech needs. So I guess the first part might be, are there any other areas maybe for innovation that you're thinking, this might be a great area to go in, or I'd like to see more of this? And on the flip side, where are some areas where we can improve on what we're already doing? Because while we like to do our best, think we're doing our best, as we always know, there's things we're missing. And we really value your feedback to let us know what some of those might be.
No, and I appreciate that. I can speak honestly and say that so far we have not hit a brick wall.
Okay.
more often than not, we're the ones holding ourselves back on it. I think if there's room for improvement in the relationship EduTech has with DBSync, it's us, we have it doing what we need it to do. So then we sort of set it and forget it to some extent. And, that's good, but there's probably a lot more we could do. We just haven't thought about it because we haven't spent enough time on our own because we haven't had to, sort of living in the platform and trying different things. And I think that's an area where we'll probably look to do now that we've had things really running well and we have a really nice workflow for the last 3 years and it's tweaked, in every which way we wanted it, where we can start looking at, okay, maybe what else can we do with this? I have to say one area that's been tremendous, I know you're looking for areas you can improve, but I want to give a shout out to the support teams that we've worked with.
Wonderful.
We've worked with some terrific people, and we've had some names change over the last 3 years. I mean, it's a 3-year period, but all along the way, whether it was, quick response, going beyond what, is part of just basic support. We've even done engagements where we've had scopes of work and had custom things done for us, and that was always seamless. And then they supported it after the fact. So it's, for as much as I've never met anyone in person, you feel like you very easily have a very one-on-one, a relationship with the people that are supporting you, which has been really, really nice.
Gratifying to hear, because
I mean, it's like I said, it's more on us to, I think, delve into the platform ourselves, to start looking at, okay, what else could we be doing that we're not leveraging right now because we didn't think we needed it and we just weren't aware of it. So I think that's where we'll probably do more. And I think if there's, we get fairly good outreach from our customer service contact at DBSync, but I think probably me following up with them more to say, okay, what else is there out there that we're not doing, and what are other
more
people
of a combination
doing?
of not,
that I think will help.
Don't I know about that we could do?
I think exactly. I think that'll be helpful as well.
I'll certainly pass that along, but I'm very happy to hear that because we do take some pride in our support because we know, half of the journey is support, meaning you get it all implemented, but then what happens after all of that? So I'm glad to hear. Some people have, in other places have, said we came to you because we felt a little abandoned. So I'm glad we're holding up that.
No, we felt good in that front.
Of the platform. Fantastic.
Awesome.
Well, I just wanted to thank you again for taking some time to share your experience with us. It's very helpful to know. We look very forward to keeping our relationship going very well with EduTech in the future. And so, yes, let's keep the conversation going. Let's, when you have time from all your growth, looking for things, but also, yes, that reminds us that, to kind of, think ahead and anticipate what some of your needs might be as well. So thank you, the rest of you who are listening in. We really appreciate you taking your time as well. And as Matthew said, you can certainly check out a little bit more about us on the App Exchange. You don't have to just take our words for it. There's others too. You can also read a little bit more about what we do at our other products at our website, www.mydbsync.com. So please don't delay. Please check us out, and we look forward to getting your apps talking. Thank you so much. And thanks again, Matthew. Really appreciate you.
No problem.
Bye.